Hey guys, it's me, Chasey Poo. Today I am doing a funny video because I'm wearing pink and the background is purpley pink and you saw the title. Today is a video that's weird. Why would Chase Ross make this video? It's okay to be masculine. Oh shit. What is that concept? I made a video about a year ago where I talk about how it's okay as trans men to embrace your femininity and to show the world that you are you and to not give a damn about what anyone else says. And I am like this. I've been like this forever. I mean, in the beginning of my transition, I was like overcompensating that masculinity because I wanted to pass. But after I realized that like people are dumb and like all they care about is all these like stereotypes, and I started to get facial hair and stuff like that, I realized I can be whoever I am and it really doesn't matter anymore because I don't care what people think. And I did have the privilege to be able to transition and do that. I am definitely aware and I acknowledge that. But basically, it's the concept that it's okay to wear pink and it's okay to talk with your hands. Yo, I talk with my hands all the time. If you go to my videos and you look at the comments, people are like, why did you transition to be a gay man? What? These people are really confused about what's going on because I don't identify as gay. I'm queer, get it right. Anyway, so today's topic, I'm going to be talking about how it's okay to be masculine because I feel like in this community, we have this like obsession with, more recently, I've noticed online, especially Facebook and Tumblr, we have this obsession to bring out the voices of people who are more feminine, which I know is contradicting everything that you think that you know about this community, and I'll tell you why. If you look at the media and the trans men who are the most popular, they are, like, they reek of masculinity. That's not a bad thing, I'm just telling you, like, they are super masculine. They go to the gym, they work out, they have wives, they have girlfriends, they're very confident, and they have all of these dominant roles that are very masculine and what society deems as masculine. I'm not saying that's bad, I'm telling you, like, that's what it is. Look at Aiden. Like, I'm not calling him out or anything, but like, masculinity right there. And he's very popular and a lot of people know who he is. Again, not saying that's a bad thing. But if you look on these groups on Facebook, it seems that a lot more people are finally embracing their femininity, and that's fantastic. And I'm so happy to see that, and people are telling people it's okay that you can wear nail polish and makeup, and if you want to wear dresses, do whatever you want. It's your life, it's your transition, it doesn't affect anyone else. And I think that that is really great, and we're like changing the way people see gender, especially in this community. But what I've noticed is like the shift from everyone making sure that they're paying attention to masculine folk, and that's the ideal masculine trans male body, has like shifted to everyone needs to be feminine and okay to embrace femininity, and then it looks like everyone who's masculine is a bad thing. And I will not lie, I definitely have this thought in my head where masculinity to me is equated with bad, and like anyone who is masculine or has masculine features, like not like physically but like in their demeanor and their roles and stuff like that, is a negative connotation. And I think that there's no medium. It's like all the way that way or all the way that way. So this video is about how it's okay to be masculine, but there's a line, and the line right here is toxic masculinity. And trans men seem to flip over that line like that. And that's the problem with masculinity in this community. And I think why a lot of people who are embracing their feminine side, or people who are just maybe more neutral, because not everyone is super masculine, super feminine, but people who are maybe more neutral can kind of like, oh yeah, I totally understand the feminine part, fuck all the masculine trans guys. And I think that the reason is because that line of toxic masculinity is very easily skipped over, and it's like there's not even a barrier, there's no wall, it's like you're just walking into it when you transition. And I think that the reason why people do that is because they're overcompensating their masculinity because they want to pass as male, as who they are in society, which I completely understand. I definitely overcompensated my masculinity, pretended like I didn't like Rent and that I like did all these masculine things when I really didn't. But the concept of toxic masculinity is, I'm gonna say right now that it's rooted in misogyny, and go ahead and call me a feminist and close this video and give me the middle finger and comment some hate, but whatever. Trans men that I've seen, and I'm focusing more on trans men right now being okay to be masculine because that's the point of this video, but yo, trans men are some of the most misogynistic people I've ever seen. And I'm not like saying not all trans men, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that that line of toxic masculinity is so easily skipped over that in order to be seen as male and seen as male in society and by people around you and your family and your friends and your peers and the people that you work with, you need to be misogynistic. And some people don't even realize that they're doing it, but the second you're saying like, oh, these bitches, and you're using derogatory terms towards women, and you're saying that women are only sexual objects, and all of these little things that I keep seeing on all these little groups, and even my friends have said things where like, oh, we should just go fuck that girl. There's a nicer way to say that. Oh, look, she's very pretty. Like, there's no way that you need to be so vulgar and treat this person like an object and like she is put on this planet and like walking around to please you and to make sure that you look at her so that you can come over and fuck her. Like, that's not how that works. And this line of misogyny is like almost non-existent to a lot of people, and they don't realize that it's there, and they don't realize that they're crossing it. And I think that we need to undo that, and the way to do that is to set that line and to tell people and to let people understand that the certain things that they're saying is actually extremely rude. And sometimes I look at the things that people say and I'm like, how can you say this? I'm not saying like you used to be a woman, but like for a time you probably passed as female in society and probably had to go through men saying things like that to you. How can you turn it around? Even if you didn't identify as female, like, how can you just say the same things that people said to you? And how can you do that if you have people in your family who are female, like your sister or your mom or your aunt or your granny, people that you love, and yet you're still saying these derogatory terms towards women because you're trying to maybe get approval from people, and you might not even know that you're doing it. That's the thing. And I think that my video might be seen as maybe a little angry, or I'm gonna get hate for this, but I do really feel like people don't realize what they're doing sometimes. And not that that's okay, but it's more like we need to help people realize that what they're doing isn't good, and that there is a type of masculinity that you can be, or type of masculine that you can be, and it could be who you are. You just don't need to step over that line. Literally, I'm just standing, I'm not even walking, I'm just moving my hand like that, and my Fitbit just told me that I did 10,000 steps today. I'm literally just using my hands. It knows that I'm a feminine trans guy and that I use my hands a lot. Actually, it doesn't know that, because if it did, it wouldn't have beeped for 10,000 steps when I'm not even moving. Anyways, thanks a lot. So as someone who is very feminine and embraces their feminine side a lot, I do believe that I do have some masculine traits in me, and that's not a bad thing. And honestly, when I say like feminine and masculine things, I'm not defying those things. Society is defining those things and has taught us since we are little children and socialized us into believing all of these little roles that men do this and women do that. And even if you grew up in a house that all the roles were all mixed up, that's great. You still watch TV, you still watch movies, you still watched your friends, you watched your teachers. All of these aspects together formed you into the person that you are, and formed me into the person that I am. And to be able to embrace my feminine side is absolutely amazing. I definitely feel way more feminine than I am masculine. I feel like visually I am very masculine. Like my face, I have a beard, I have a deep voice, I appear male. But my mannerisms are very feminine, and that's okay. And it's also okay if you look very male, very masculine, beard, deep voice, and you also wear, and you also, like, the way that you act with your body is very masculine. Like, let's say Aiden Dowling, I'm just gonna use him as an example. Like, I don't like hate him or anything like that. Like, we're friends. Like, I talk to him all the time. Like, don't worry. But see, it's okay. The type of masculine that he is I mean, he does promote like bodybuilding and stuff like that, and I guess that could be constricting for some people who like don't see that as the ideal trans body or male body, and I completely understand that, and it sucks that he is like the only person that's kind of like up there and has like all of this spotlight, and we don't have other people who are in there who are maybe not as muscular or maybe not as white. Like to add that to the mix so that people can see that there are different representations and see themselves in people who are higher up and more famous, I guess, and maybe less masculine or even more masculine. Who knows? I like feel like I'm contradicting myself, but that type of masculinity is great, and it's fine because you're respecting the people around you, you're respecting yourself, you're respecting men, and you're also respecting women, which is absolutely important, and people who are non-binary. Let me just put that in there just so you don't feel included. Absolutely, I'm including you in this. This just this line, and like this video I feel like is going all over the place right now. Let me just for 1 second. I think that I'm going on a soci rant right now. I mean, I don't like saying I'm a sociologist, but I did my degree in sociology and I'm doing my master's in sociology right now, so I guess you can, whatever, it doesn't matter. But I tend to analyze and overanalyze things, and sometimes I feel like I go overboard. But this is something I've been thinking about for such a long time, about how we in society, in the trans community specifically, we kind of put down masculinity so much now. And like, I'm part of that. I definitely put down masculinity, I'm not gonna lie. Like, you've seen my post, like, I'm not gonna lie. But I've put down masculinity that I feel like is toxic for our community and for other people to see. And I've definitely wished that those collages of, oh, look, all these trans guys, you wouldn't even know that they were trans, or you wish you could fuck a trans guy. They're all white all the time, they're all very muscular. And I'm not saying that that's toxic masculinity, but I'm saying that that type of masculinity and that type of masculine image that is projected onto the trans community as if everyone looks like that is toxic. But it's not toxic masculinity. I think that the point of toxic masculinity is that you're degrading people and you're putting yourself higher up. And maybe I'm just talking about one little layer of toxic masculinity, and which is rooted in misogyny and misogynistic thinking, even if the person doesn't know. But I feel like a lot of people actually know, but that's for another video. And maybe there are different layers of toxic masculinity that you would like me to talk about, and you could put that in the comments. I would absolutely love to do that, because it's something that I really enjoy talking about, topics that are difficult to talk about, because it really helps me like really dig inside my brain and analyze different things and different aspects of my life and how I've interpreted situations like that. And I feel like maybe talking about this, it could help you maybe think of things differently and maybe realize that some of the things that you have done have been toxic. And I feel like I definitely have done things that have been rooted in misogyny, without even realizing it. And now that I reflect on my life and the things that I've done, I am a way different person than I was 6 years ago compared to today. And when I look back at the 6-year-old, I'm like, holy, 6-year-old me, no, like 6 years ago me. I was definitely very problematic. I will say that, very problematic, and I didn't even know it. So maybe it takes somebody to just be like, hey, like, I'm not saying you're misogynistic, I'm not saying you have toxic masculinity that runs through your blood. I'm just saying, hey, just 1 second, calm down, relax, just think about things in your life. Just do a little wheel right there. Just do a little, oh shit, maybe I did do something. Or maybe be aware of toxic masculinity around you. When people around me say things that are extremely derogatory towards women, I can't. I can't do it. I don't even care if I'm at work. I literally don't care. I will get fired, I don't care. And I have the privilege to be able to do that, I know, because I am able to make money off of different platforms like YouTube and the TA position that I have. So yes, I understand this privilege that I have, but for me, I am okay to risk that on the line. Other people can't. I'm just saying that this is for me. I know some people can't. And I also want to acknowledge that the point that I'm talking about and the feminine aspects that I have and embracing my femininity and stuff like that and talking about this topic, I want people to understand that I'm not just talking about white trans guys, okay? That are able to embrace their femininity. And I feel like there are so many people in this community that don't get a voice, and they're there in groups and they want to be heard and they're not heard, and it's because they're not white. And that's super problematic, and maybe you think that's problematic of me saying that because you're like, oh my god, white guilt, whatever. It's not white guilt, it's let me use my privilege that I have to make sure that some of the voices that want to be heard are actually heard. So I think that I absolutely need to acknowledge I am white, I have this privilege, I look very masculine, but I am also feminine, and I am able to do these things. And I'm able to talk, and I have this platform to talk to you about this. So I just wanted to talk about that briefly, I guess. I feel like that point really didn't kind of like make sense into this video, but at this point, I don't feel like this whole video made any sense anyways. Let me know what you think. Please, if you have other layers of toxic masculinity that you'd like me to talk about, or that you think anything in this video is problematic, I would absolutely love to have a conversation about this in the comments. Let's do this. I love you so much. Have a great week. Bye.